If there's one thing Friends always did better than almost every other sitcom, it was turning completely ordinary situations into unforgettable comedy. This episode is a perfect example of that. On paper, nothing here sounds extraordinary. A questionable fashion choice, an awkward misunderstanding, a parenting disaster, and a few embarrassing conversations. But somehow, the writers transformed those simple ideas into 20 minutes of non-stop laughs. What really impressed me wasn't just how funny the jokes were. It was the pacing. Every storyline starts with a small, believable moment, then slowly escalates until everything falls apart in the most entertaining way possible. That's something Friends mastered throughout its run, and this episode shows exactly why the formula worked so well. The opening storyline is a great example. The comedy isn't really about the outfit itself. It's about complete confidence colliding with honest reactions. That contrast creates a type of humor that still feels relatable years later. We've all seen someone completely convinced they're right while everyone else is thinking the exact opposite. Friends takes that everyday situation and pushes it just far enough to become hilarious without feeling unrealistic. The episode doesn't stay in one place for very long, and that's another reason it works. Just as one joke reaches its payoff, the focus shifts to another storyline with a completely different type of comedy. Instead of repeating the same joke, the writers keep changing the rhythm, which makes the episode feel surprisingly fast even after multiple rewatches. One storyline leans heavily into awkward social comedy, another depends on panic and bad decision-making, while another highlights how each character's personality creates the joke rather than the situation itself. That's a huge reason why Friends has aged so well. The humor comes from the characters first, not from random punchlines. Ross once again proves why awkward confidence became one of his funniest traits. Joey and Chandler remind us why they're one of television's greatest comedy duos, simply because their logic never works the way they think it will. Monica's determination, Phoebe's honesty, and everyone's reactions create a balance where every character contributes something unique without stealing the spotlight from the others. What I appreciate most is how naturally the episode transitions between comedy and emotion. Just when you're laughing at complete chaos, the show slows down long enough to remind you why these 6 friends became so beloved in the first place. That emotional balance keeps the comedy from feeling repetitive and gives every joke a little more impact. From a writing perspective, this is one of those episodes that demonstrates excellence at sitcom structure. Every setup has a payoff. Every storyline builds towards something memorable. And even when multiple plots are happening at once, nothing feels rushed or forgotten. That's much harder to achieve than it looks. The performances deserve just as much credit. The cast doesn't simply deliver jokes. They sell every awkward pause, every confused reaction, and every moment of panic so naturally that the comedy feels effortless. That's one of the biggest reasons people continue discovering Friends decades after it originally aired. Overall, I'd easily rate this episode a 9 out of 10. It's consistently funny, incredibly well-paced, and filled with the kind of character-driven comedy that made Friends a cultural phenomenon. Whether you're watching it for the first time or revisiting it years later, it still delivers the same laughs because great comedy never really goes out of style. If you had to pick the funniest storyline from this episode, which one would it be? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoy revisiting classic sitcoms through reviews like this, don't forget to subscribe because there are plenty more unforgettable Friends episodes to talk about.